Listen, people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they repeat the wrong habits, while expecting success to magically appear. So if you feel stuck, if you feel like success keeps slipping from your hands, lean in, because the next few minutes can rewrite the path of your life. These are the 6 habits that attract success consistently, relentlessly, inevitably. Discipline isn't glamorous, it isn't exciting, and it doesn't give you that dopamine rush that motivation does. Motivation feels good, discipline often hurts. Motivation pulls you when life aligns, discipline pushes you when life resists. The truth is, success doesn't belong to the most talented or the most inspired. It belongs to the individual who learns to command their own behavior. When most people think discipline, they think punishment, they think restriction. But real discipline is liberation. It frees you from excuses. It frees you from the paralyzing belief that you must wait until you feel ready. Readiness is a myth. Nobody wakes up and magically wants to do the uncomfortable work required to change their life. The people who succeed aren't lucky. They're consistent despite discomfort. They don't negotiate with their feelings. They don't outsource responsibility for their future. They build a muscle of self-governance. Every breakthrough begins with the decision to take full control of your actions. Not once, but repeatedly. Many people start strong. They commit to a goal with excitement. I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to change my body. I'm going to build my business. But they collapse as soon as the initial spark fades. They confuse desire with discipline. Desire says, I want it. Discipline says, I'll earn it. Success requires you to rewire your relationship with effort, to treat discomfort as confirmation that you're moving in the right direction, to recognize resistance not as a barrier, but as the signal that you are stepping outside the boundaries of your old identity. The mind loves comfort, but comfort is a silent assassin of dreams. To attract success, you must consistently act against your default programming. When your body screams rest, your discipline whispers work. When your excuses try to convince you that tomorrow is a better day, your discipline replies, tomorrow is a lie. The greatest enemy of discipline is negotiation. That quiet internal dialogue that begins the moment you consider doing something difficult. It's just one skipped workout. I'll start Monday. I deserve a break. Those seemingly harmless compromises snowball into habits that sabotage success. Successful people shut down negotiations before they begin. They operate from standards, not emotions. They commit beforehand, removing choice in the moment. There is a profound difference between hoping you'll succeed and structuring your behavior so success becomes inevitable. Discipline is structure. Discipline is strategy. It's waking up before the sun because you said you would. It's working on your goals after a draining day because the mission demands it. It's sacrificing temporary comfort for long-term reward. Too many people are imprisoned by their emotions. They act only when they feel inspired. But inspiration is unpredictable. Discipline is dependable. Those who attract success understand that the moment you make emotion your master, you surrender your potential. The world praises outcomes, but rarely acknowledges the lonely battles fought in silence. Self-discipline is forged privately. No applause, no recognition, no validation. It's repeating the same action until it becomes part of your identity. You rise early when everyone else sleeps. You grind quietly while others distract themselves. Discipline requires delayed gratification, the ability to postpone immediate pleasure for future gain. In a society obsessed with instant results, delayed gratification is a superpower. And like all superpowers, it must be trained. You train it every time you choose the difficult option. Reading instead of scrolling, planning instead of procrastinating, investing instead of spending. Those moments shape destiny. Most people underestimate the compound interest of daily discipline. Small sacrifices accumulate into massive transformation. Missed discipline accumulates too, into regret. When you understand this, discipline becomes not something you force, but something you protect. Discipline is not about perfection. You will stumble. You will break promises to yourself. You will experience days where your plan collapses. But discipline means returning to your commitment faster each time. The gap between falling and getting back up determines your trajectory. Many people quit the moment they slip, believing one failure erases all progress. But failure isn't final. It's feedback. When you break discipline, study the reason, not the excuse. Were you mentally prepared? Did you anticipate obstacles? Did you rely on willpower instead of systems? Ruthless self-discipline requires brutal honesty. Success demands that you audit yourself more heavily than you judge others. Personal accountability is non-negotiable. When you take ownership of your actions, something powerful happens. You eliminate the option to blame circumstances, people, or luck. You reclaim power over your future. There will always be distractions, temptations, and resistance. The world will constantly offer you opportunities to deviate from your goals. The question is not whether distractions exist, it's whether you possess the discipline to reject them. Most people live reactive lives. They respond to impulses, notifications, urges, pressure, opinions. The disciplined person lives intentionally. Their actions align with their purpose. They operate on principles instead of convenience. And through repetition, those disciplined actions become identity. You stop forcing yourself to work. You become a person who works. You stop trying to wake up early. You become someone who values early mornings. You stop battling resistance. You become someone who executes regardless. That identity shift is where success begins to magnetize. True discipline builds self-trust. When you consistently honor your commitments, you prove to yourself that you are capable of transformation. That self-trust becomes confidence, and confidence attracts opportunity. Here's the truth. Success is rarely complicated. It's just hard. The systems are simple. Wake up, execute, stay consistent, but few have the discipline to sustain them. If you want success to chase you, if you want opportunities to present themselves, if you want abundance in your future, you must first master yourself. Self-discipline is the highest form of self-love. It is telling yourself, I deserve a better future and I'm willing to work for it. No excuses, no exceptions. Every great achievement in history was built by someone willing to endure discomfort for a vision others could not see. If you want success, stop looking outward and start commanding inward. Your habits predict your destiny. Discipline is the key that unlocks every door. Health, wealth, mastery, purpose, it's not optional, it's required. Discipline is not the path to success. Discipline is success in motion. Build it, protect it, and everything you desire will follow. Successful people aren't addicted to achievement, they're addicted to growth. Growth is the fuel behind every breakthrough, every innovation, every transformation. But most people resist growth because growth requires humility. It demands that you confront your weaknesses instead of hiding them. It asks you to admit that you don't know enough yet. People cling to what's familiar, even when the familiar is destroying their potential. They settle into predictable routines, comfortable conversations, safe environments. They defend what they already know instead of pursuing what they could become. But growth is never comfortable. It challenges your identity, it stretches your limits, and it forces you to evolve. When you commit to growth, you declare that your future matters more than your ego. That declaration is the first act of attracting success, because success recognizes those who are willing to transform themselves first. Growth requires you to examine failure with curiosity instead of shame. Most people run from failure. They fear embarrassment, rejection, judgment. But failure is simply data. It reveals blind spots and exposes weaknesses you must strengthen. When you adopt a growth mindset, mistakes become teachers instead of punishments. You begin to ask new questions. What did this setback reveal about my habits? Which skills am I lacking? What system failed and how can I rebuild it stronger? Growth shifts your thinking from self-criticism to strategic reflection. Failure stops being a dead end and becomes a detour toward improvement. Those who succeed don't avoid discomfort. They pursue the lessons within it. They study their patterns. They analyze their outcomes. They learn from what broke instead of pretending everything is fine. And because they learn, they evolve. And because they evolve, they become unstoppable. This obsession with growth demands intentional exposure to challenge. You must deliberately place yourself in situations where you feel unprepared, inexperienced, or uncertain. Most people avoid these moments because vulnerability threatens their pride. They want to appear confident and capable even when they're struggling privately. But confidence is not built from pretending you know. It's built from acquiring the skills you lack. Growth requires you to step into the arena before you feel ready, to ask questions even when you fear sounding uninformed, to choose challenges that force you to level up. Whether it's learning new skills, seeking mentorship, or entering competitive spaces, you must pursue environments that stretch you beyond your current capacity. Every level of success demands new knowledge, new discipline, and new resilience. Those who fear newness stay trapped. Those who embrace it expand their possibilities. Growth requires risk, but stagnation guarantees regret. Growth also demands the investment of time and attention. Two currencies most people spend recklessly. Time is wasted on distractions disguised as entertainment. Attention is scattered across meaningless notifications that steal focus and weaken momentum. True growth requires prioritization. You must carve out time for learning, reflection, skill development, and personal evolution. Success is not an accident. It is engineered through intentional practice and sustained effort. Many people wish for better outcomes without investing in better inputs. They want the reward without the refinement. They want the destination without the climb. But growth asks a simple question. What are you consistently feeding your mind? The books you read, the conversations you participate in, the content you consume. These shape your perspective and influence your actions. If you want extraordinary results, you must expose yourself to extraordinary ideas. Growth is a discipline, not a luxury. There is a cost to growth. A temporary discomfort that feels like resistance, confusion, frustration, even fear. And because of this cost, many people retreat the moment growth begins to stretch them. They interpret struggle as a sign to quit, rather than a sign they're evolving. Growth disrupts comfort because comfort protects limitation. When you grow, you destroy the familiar version of yourself. That destruction feels like loss, but it's actually liberation. You're shedding beliefs, behaviors, and identity traits that no longer serve the future you're building. That shedding can feel lonely, because the people around you may resist your evolution. They may label you changed, as if change is betrayal. But growth requires courage to separate from those who fear transformation. It demands inner fortitude to stand alone for a season if necessary. Growth isolates before it elevates, and the willingness to evolve, despite resistance, is what separates those who achieve meaningful success from those who simply fantasize about it. To attract success through growth, you must live in a state of continuous curiosity. Ask deeper questions, challenge assumptions, seek knowledge that expands your perspective. Every skill you don't have is a barrier between you and your potential. Every fear you refuse to face becomes a prison. Growth liberates you from both. It equips you to create opportunities instead of waiting for them. It gives you the tools to navigate adversity with resourcefulness instead of panic. And most importantly, growth compounds. The more you learn, the more capable you become of learning. The more discipline you build, the more ambitious goals you can pursue. Growth unlocks momentum, and momentum attracts success. When your daily actions reflect a commitment to learning, you become a magnet for opportunity, because preparation always meets the moment. And when the world sees someone who is actively evolving, someone willing to sacrifice ego for mastery, success gravitates toward them instinctively. Growth is the doorway, and success is simply what waits on the other side. Commit to evolving, and every dream that feels distant today will begin moving toward you. Consistency is the quiet force behind every great success story. Not intensity, not talent, not bursts of inspiration, consistency. Anyone can work hard for a moment, but success belongs to those who show up repeatedly, long after the excitement fades. Think about how many dreams die, not because the dreamer lacked ability, but because they lacked consistency. They started with fire, but they never built the habits to sustain the flame. Consistency is the difference between wishing and becoming. It's the daily commitment to progress, no matter how small, when no one is watching, when the applause is silent, when results seem invisible. Consistency is the voice that says, keep going. Every repeated action becomes a brick that builds the structure of your future. Success isn't a single moment. It's millions of micro-choices executed with persistence. But most people sabotage consistency because they worship immediate results. They expect transformation overnight. They expect progress to be obvious. And when it isn't, they convince themselves the work isn't working. That is the lie that kills potential. Growth rarely announces itself at first. It's quiet, it lives beneath the surface, strengthening slowly until one day it erupts in a breakthrough others mistake for luck. Consistency is planting seeds, knowing you won't see the harvest immediately. It's showing up even when your effort feels invisible. It's understanding that repetition compounds, and every action contributes to eventual transformation. The problem isn't that dreams are unreachable. The problem is that people quit long before the compound effect has time to reward them. Success is not immediate gratification. It's long-term accumulation. And those who understand that protect their consistency with fierce devotion. Consistency also means being loyal to your process when life tests you. Because life will test you. You will face setbacks, fatigue, doubt, distractions, and frustration. Consistency demands endurance when conditions aren't ideal. Anyone can be consistent when life feels predictable. The true measure of consistency is revealed in chaos. It's waking up to discomfort and choosing discipline anyway. It's prioritizing your mission when circumstances tempt you to abandon it. Your resilience becomes stronger each time you persist through adversity instead of retreating. Consistency builds emotional endurance. It teaches the mind that quitting is not an option. And when quitting is no longer an option, success becomes inevitable. The people who attract success don't avoid difficult. They leverage it. They use resistance as fuel, strengthening their commitment with every obstacle. Consistency